Welcome back guys to another Clash Royale video, and today I'm back on my mini account and I want to show you guys the deck that I've been using as a level 7 in Arena 7 that has been working fairly well for me. Now it is a Royal Giant deck, but I have a couple things in here that I want to talk about. First, I have both the arrows and the fireball in there. Obviously the arrows are meant to take out minions and stuff like that, and the fireball really helps out against the barbarians, which a lot of people use against the Royal Giant. So having the baby dragon as support with the Royal Giant, you can throw in a fireball and take out all those barbarians, and that'll allow your Royal Giant to go straight to that tower. And also, you'll notice that I do have the Inferno Tower in there, and that is to help out against other Royal Giant users. The Inferno Tower is probably the best defense against other Royal Giant users. The cannon right now just has a little bit too little health to defend properly against the Royal Giant. So that's why I have the Inferno Tower in there. Now let's go ahead to some replays here. So here we are guys, with the first replay. I'm facing a level 8 here as a level 7. Now I do want to point out that some of my cards are still fairly low level for being at level 7. My Fireball and my Inferno Tower are still level 4, which honestly, at this trophy range and against level 8s and 9s is fairly weak. So if you guys have higher level cards than that, you should be able to do fairly well with this deck. Now right there, he was being super aggressive with the minion horde as well as the goblins. I went ahead and used the arrows to get huge value for that and take out all of those troops and get a massive elixir win for myself. And now right here, he dropped some barbarians, which is probably the worst counter in the game against a baby dragon. Because as you can see, those barbs are fairly weak, and as a result, my crown tower took them out fairly easily. But I did drop barbarians of my own to help take out those goblins and overall just prevent any damage to my tower. Now right here in the battle, I have two choices. I could use the Inferno Tower in the middle of my base, or I can go on the offensive with a Royal Giant push. Now I didn't use the Inferno Tower here because at this point in the battle, I wasn't sure if he had a Royal Giant in his deck, and if you are facing somebody using a Royal Giant in their deck, you have to place the Inferno Tower down after the Royal Giant goes down, otherwise their Royal Giant will outrange your Inferno Tower. So that's why I try and wait with the Inferno Tower before I know what their deck is. Now overall, he did a pretty good job defending that push on the right hand side. We did, however, go in there with the Royal Giant and get a couple hits off on that tower, bringing it all the way down to 1800 health. So far things looking pretty good. And now right here, he's going to go in with a level 7 Hog Rider, guys. The level 7 Hog Rider is pretty strong against my cards. As you can see right there, he does some pretty good damage against my Inferno Tower. My main account, which is level 9 and Legendary Arena, has a level 7 Hog Rider. So that just kind of puts it in perspective for you guys. Now right here, I'm just going to wait a quick second, start building up that elixir again, and start doing a push. You never really want to play yourself down to 0 elixir. That's how you get caught on a counter push and lose a tower. So right here, I'm going to do the slow push technique with the Royal Giant. Now when you're using the Royal Giant, there's a couple different things you can do. You can drop it right at the bridge and try and catch your opponent off guard with 0 elixir left to defend. Or you can do a slow push like I did right here with the Royal Giant way in the back, and then start building up some support troops around him, which honestly is my preferred way to use the Royal Giant, because as you can see right there, by the time the Royal Giant got to the bridge, I already had a second Royal Giant ready to go down, and right here he has nothing left to defend against this Royal Giant, and as a result, I will take that tower out, giving me the 1 crown lead. Sorry, never mind, the tower is all the way down to 31 health, so all I need is a fireball at this point to give me the 1 crown lead. Now he's going to drop barbarians once again, which honestly, like I said, is the worst counter against a baby dragon. So if you're facing a baby dragon, don't use barbarians unless you absolutely have to. So right here, there goes the fireball, taking out that tower and giving me the 1 crown victory. Let's go ahead to the next replay here. So here we are guys, with the next replay. Now we're facing another level 7 here, but I wanted to show you guys this replay because he was using an Expo deck, which I haven't seen used in a very long time. So that's why I wanted to show you guys this replay. And then the next replay after this, I was using a different variation of the Royal Giant deck, but it was against a level 9 who ended up rage quitting, and that's why I wanted to show the next one to you guys. But right here, he drops the cannon right in the middle of his base, and I keep saying this a lot in a lot of my videos, the cannon isn't a proactive defense. You have to play it reactively, otherwise, as you'll see right here, by the time my Royal Giant makes it over that bridge, the cannon is already down to like a sliver of health. But fortunately, he does drop the Inferno Tower in time to take out my Royal Giant. Now right here, I kind of make a big mistake. I used the Inferno Tower to counter that giant skeleton, but I should have dropped down the spear goblins on the right hand side to distract that giant skeleton long enough and prevent him from reaching the Inferno Tower, and overall that just would have saved me a little bit of elixir and keep that Inferno Tower alive. So right here, I seen him place his cannon in the middle of his base. He also placed his Inferno Tower on the right hand side, so I kind of feel like I have an opening to go in on the left hand side with the Royal Giant. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Fireball there to take out that tower, but he catches me off guard here with that Expo, and watch this. I dropped the Royal Giant to counter that Expo, and of course the Royal Giant is probably the best counter in the game against Expos and Mortars too, just because of his high health, high damage, and long range. So he ended up placing down an Expo and a cannon, which my Royal Giant took out both of those cards, so that was a pretty huge elixir win for myself. So overall, neither of us have really done any damage to the other person's tower, so we are kind of at a stalemate so far in this battle, but watch what happens in the next few moments and over into overtime here. So I dropped the Inferno Tower down here because at this point in the battle, I'm feeling pretty confident that he doesn't have a Royal Giant in his deck. And watch this, guys, the Giant Skeleton crosses the bridge, gonna go ahead and use the Barbarians behind the Giant Skeleton, that way the Barbs don't die from the Giant Bomb. And right here, he drops the Barbarians on the right hand side, so I'm going to go all in on the left hand side with the Royal Giant as well as the Baby Dragon. Now I make a huge mistake here, guys. I use that Fireball to damage that Inferno Tower. I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. I should have used the Fireball on the right hand side to take out those Barbarians. So as you can see, it looks like I'm getting myself into a little bit of trouble here with that Expo, but fortunately I get the Inferno Tower down at the last second. And watch this, guys, the Inferno Tower is sitting there right at the river. He's going to go ahead and place down a cannon in the middle of his base, which, like I said earlier, isn't the best decision. And now watch this, he places down a Tesla right next to that cannon. So this person has 3 defensive towers in his deck, the Tesla, the cannon, and the Inferno Tower. So right there, Royal Giant is going to go in on the left hand side, start damaging both of those defensive structures, and with the help of the Fireball, the Royal Giant will actually get 2 hits off on that tower, bringing it all the way down to 800 health. Now watch this right here, guys. Once again, the Inferno Tower goes down to take out that Expo, and watch what happens right here. He drops a level 5 Inferno Tower to try and counter my level 4 Inferno Tower, but my Inferno Tower actually wins because his Inferno Tower took like 1 second to activate, which really is a bad decision on his part. And right there, the Fireball goes in to give me the 1 crown victory. Let's go ahead to the final replay here. So here we are, guys, with the final replay. We're facing a level 9 here as a level 7. Now my opponent does end up rage quitting halfway through this battle, which I thought was pretty funny, and that's why I wanted to show you guys this replay here. Now we are using a different variation of the Royal Giant deck. In this battle, I'm using the Royal Giant Valkyrie Musketeer combo, which honestly is pretty strong, but I decided to switch it up for a couple of reasons. First, my Musketeer is only level 4, so she is a little bit weak with her damage and her health. Also, my Goblins are level 7, so they are fairly strong for this level range. And also, being that I use the Hog Rider cycle decks for the most part all the time, I kind of prefer the low elixir cost decks. So that's why I switched it up. Honestly, it's just personal preference. So right here, the Royal Giant is making a slow push on the right hand side. He's going to try and go in with that Prince and some Goblins. I'm going to go ahead and use the Cannon as well as the Valkyrie to take out that Prince. And right here, he drops a Dark Prince to counter my Royal Giant. Now, the Dark Prince doesn't do too much single target damage, so I'm going to be able to use that Musketeer to take it out. And as a result, the Royal Giant will make his way over that bridge and get a couple hits off on that tower, bringing it all the way down to 1500 health. So things are looking pretty good so far. My tower on the right hand side is all the way down to 1200 health. But I'm going to play a little bit more defensively now that I know he is using a Royal Giant in his deck. Now right here, he uses the Fireball on that pump as well as the tower, which honestly isn't the best use of elixir. And as a result, I'm going to start making a push on the right hand side with my Royal Giant. And once the Royal Giant makes his way up to that bridge, I'm going to go ahead and use some Barbarians in front of him to support him. Now my opponent is using the Dark Prince, which is a pretty good counter against the Barbarians, but my Barbarians will take out his shield at least, allowing the Valkyrie and the Musketeer combo to come in and finish him off. And as a result, the Royal Giant will actually go in there and take out his tower. Now watch this, guys. He actually dropped his Tesla a little bit too far out of range of my Royal Giant. So that was a pretty big mistake on his part, and probably was one of the reasons why he rage quit. So right here, he's gonna go in one last time with that Royal Giant combo, I'm going to go ahead and use my cannon as well as that Elixir Pump to distract it, and then throw down some Barbarians behind the Royal Giant to take out those Goblins first, and then go on to take out the Royal Giant. And as you can see right there, he drops the good game, he gives up, and at this point in the battle, he actually left the battle. So I'm going to go all in and go for that 3-crown victory. And honestly, it was kind of nice because I did need my crown chest for the day. So getting a 3-crown victory like this is pretty good. So there he goes, Barbarians damaging that King Tower. Fireball goes down. The Royal Giant will go in there with the Musketeer and finish off that tower, giving me the 3-crown victory over a level 9. Anyways guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching guys, and we'll see you in the next video.